Okay. Starting the recording of with one of my favorite people in the world, my bro, Dr. Avellino, for another Performance Living Chapter 3. Um, so yesterday when you sent the email over for Delon, I was
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I had so much shit going on. I was just not gonna, I was gonna follow up later. I'm like, nah, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna respond to this guy. I thought for sure he'll be way too busy. I'll hear from him maybe in 2 weeks.
Oh, no, no, no.
Oh,
He is actually very
from
quick.
him. I hear
Oh,
from him in
very
like a half an
quick.
hour.
Oh, yeah, very, very
Oh,
quick.
then I texted him, but the guy couldn't have been nicer. And he says, "Well, he told me he's going to see you this weekend." I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
give him a bro hug for me because he's my bro. Sounds like he's a bro of yours too."
Oh,
So
yeah.
I ordered his book,
Yeah.
and so I'll get that in a couple of
Great, in
days,
fact.
just so I can have some. You know me, I got like 14 books going right now, but I'll always, at least when I have books, if I can have references and stuff, I can kind of go through them quickly. At least I can get a little bit of backstory. But it sounds like I want to read the whole book. Those are the kind of books that are like they pull you in. So that's going to be good.
Good,
He's
in
gonna
fact. Yeah.
be super solid. And I did connect Cece with Jane and Debbie Heiser. So
Oh, good. Okay.
see
Great, in
what that
fact.
happens with that. The whole thing between you and I, Tony. I mean, good for her on the Voice America thing.
Yeah.
But, been there, done that long, long ago. I even looked it up, and my stuff is still on Voice America. Actually, I looked it
Oh,
up.
okay. Huh.
Yeah, and it's so they're it's just one of those things where if you want a full on production company that does everything for $1,000 a month, great. If they fit a
So,
niche.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. They fit a niche. I mean, for our stuff, we're in a whole different. I don't want to sound cocky or anything, Tony, but we're a whole different fucking league, bro. I mean,
So,
we're on
so,
broadcast radio is way different than that. That's
yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
very limited scope. Hold on, I'm listening. I just got to turn this thing off. What were you gonna say?
Oh,
God, you sound good. What are you doing?
wait, I have to put it now this way. Good. That actually sounds better.
Good.
Yeah. Good, in fact. Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, it'd be great to get your impression on Norm.
Uh,
To be honest, Tom, I mean, his ego, um,
be careful. We're recording.
oh, okay.
I know you got something to say. We're not, and we don't know who. Just don't say any last names so people don't really know what the
No,
fuck.
no. But
But
it's
there are, yeah, there are people.
crazy though. It's crazy though, right? I mean, it's
Well, I reach out, Tony, I
yeah.
reach out to people on this thing, and
Mhm.
Mike Shingles loved the whole performance living concept.
Oh,
And
good.
so, with you being the anchor, our anchor guy with this thing, it's a perfect fit, and you're really getting into your notes and stuff. Now, I wanted to ask you,
Hmm.
how do you want me to say? Because what I'm going to start calling these is just performance living with Dr. Avellino, chapter 3,
Yeah.
your 10th time on, and kind of let you set it up. With our performance living, we're always dealing with like your specialization obviously is neuro. And so my whole concept when I do my new marketing campaign, everything is about the head. Everything is about your behavior. It's about what you believe. It's about all of that stuff. So you and I are in lockstep with this thing. You got to get your fucking head right first to before you can do anything. I mean, so I'm just kind of setting you up to just go
Sure. Yeah.
let you set up the episode, and I'm making notes off of your notes,
Good.
and
Okay.
however you want to go. Okay, so
Why
again,
don't we start? Go
segment
for it.
one is I'll always let's talk about the fam for a second. Throw some love to the kids and Jen, and
Good.
I sent that clip, the first one that you did where I said, you know, uh, Tony's kids call him dad. I call him bro, and Jen calls him, I don't know, take out the trash. That was that
Exactly.
that I sent out that we're
Exactly.
laughing. That's the one I sent to Delon. He
Oh,
loved it.
okay. Oh, cool.
Well,
Yeah,
now I
because
have, and here's the thing, Tony. Now I'm using Vanessa, our virtual assistant, she's putting the polishing touches on those excerpt clips now, where that's freeing me up to do some other things. I give her the rough cut edit that I've done. I pull out what I want because, like Cece was saying, she has her person pulling out clips. See, my person doesn't know which clips are the best clips because I know the show. And it's like, I was wondering that to myself. I'm like, well, how does your assistant, unless she knows your content inside out, she's just cutting up clips randomly. Our clips are like, I go through the whole fucking episode and I find like 2 or 3 really good points and put them together, cut them out, put them together, and then package them up. That's how our stuff, and that's how it's going to continue to evolve. And so you've seen them. I mean,
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is the last couple of weeks that she's been doing these for me, she keeps getting better and better. She puts more and more polish on them. And it just makes her stuff like she's doing, we just did this other doctor and I'll have to send it to you because she put pages up. We're talking to the doctor and she inserted a page with his picture and his bio and it looked fucking sweet. I'm like, I give her carte blanche to just say, just go, just do whatever, make it better. And she gets it now. So anyways, are you good for an hour?
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I have a meeting in 1.5 hours. So
Okay. Golden.
yeah. So good, in fact. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, perfect, in fact.
For an hour.
All
Thanks.
right,
Thanks.
well said. Yeah.
Thanks for being on time and you look good
Sure.
and you sound great. Are you
Good.
home?
No.
Okay. So you brought
I'm
your
at
mic,
work still.
brought your
Yeah,
mic.
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
See, you're portable now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Great.
No, because it'd be nice if I had some type of
Conference.
hard case of some sort,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the I have a bin.
What Oh,
What
oh,
I
you
do
do?
is I use
Okay.
the bin and I
Got
just
it.
put all
Okay.
my stuff in my bin and they're
Huh.
clear so I can see what's in them.
Huh.
And that's when we travel. Sandy puts all her stuff in bins. I have all my radio, network, whatever stuff, all
Huh.
my tech stuff in a bin. I have 2 bins actually.
Hmm.
Speaking engagements, you really need to have that ready because
I know.
when
You
you
have to
do,
travel.
well, you want to have, take the show on the fucking road. I went to a luncheon today at, with, Craig Stiles, he's our finance guy, and it
Oh,
was
cool.
for the Rotary Club, and Vinnie Gore was the speaker.
Oh, wow.
And I hadn't seen him in a while. Yeah, it was great because it was like old bro day, and everybody was looking at me like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And Vinny's like, "Yeah, Tom knows everybody. It's like 1 degree of separation." I start laughing. I said, "You sound like Tony," but it's just
Sure.
like that's me, man. That's how Papa Tom rolls. Embrace it. You can't shut it off. Let me tell you one thing though, Doc. I've been off caffeine since November now.
Yeah.
Oh, I noticed a big difference. It's taken a while.
Seriously. Wow.
Huge fucking difference for me. It's just
Hmm.
like things that used to just kind of would just kind of grind on me a little bit, and I would just feel like something just got fucked up for tomorrow.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, just roll with it. It's just
Hmm.
like, okay, fine. Yeah, so it's good. And I fought my doctor for so long on that we're talking to the camera now, everybody.
Hmm.
I've been off caffeine since the beginning of November. Dr. Jameson tried to get me off it for the last like 25, 30 years. And he just said at this point, that's where performance living came from, was he said it's affecting your performance. And that's when the whole idea of this whole concept came. So without much further ado, let's get this bad mofo rolling here. For Tony and I could swear like sailors, and we do anyway, so it's all good. Does Delon swear?
He's more refined than us.
He ain't a street ball. See, we're a little older.
No, no, but is he's actually a remarkable person, Tom.
Sounds like.
I mean, he is really, good.
Oh, it's going to be a great love connection. I'm looking forward to talking to him. And so he lives in Arizona then.
Yeah, he does.
So do you see him much?
I see him like once every other month or so.
Okay, that's quite often.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, well, let's roll, bro. Let's do this.
Let's go.
All right, here we go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Tom Matt Show. Always stoked to the moon to do this thing called radio. called podcasting, called streaming, called whatever the heck we call it, video stuff. Crazy. Got to thank Joe Rogan for enlightening Tom to the power of video with a podcast, because when I was just doing radio, everybody, I thought for sure there was just no way people were going to watch video. Well, and guess what? They do. And hey, God bless you for doing that. It helps us. Everything's good. Last week, Jane Kurth was back. FitFix Now CEO. You know Jane. She's awesome. Talked about research, because I just did my 5-course research for my personal training, which I've got to get my starting my CPR AED done, and then I can submit it. I'm all set for another 2 years. So if you're going to be a personal trainer, be aware that every 2 years you got to do these CEUs, which is really good for your head. And that's the whole point. So you can get a class from Jane. Anybody can do them. You don't have to be a personal trainer to just utilize her services at FitFix Now. There's a lot of very, very nominally priced classes that just rock. And so you name it, they're there. She's got a bunch of them. Anyways, that was Jane Kurth last week, research. And check it out. It's always informative with fitness, nutrition with Jane Kurth. Performance living, this is our brand new topic category on the radio program. My anchor, my cleanup hitter for this one is always Dr. Anthony Avellino, star. He is our guy. This is chapter 3. We basically talk a lot about brain health, behavior health, and pain, and all kinds of things. If it happens in the brain, we'll probably talk about it, because, having a pediatric neurosurgeon like a Dr. Anthony Avellino, MD, MBA, professor of neurosurgery and board certified pediatric and adult neurosurgeon, friend to Tom Matt. Love it. Dr. Avellino provides pediatric neurosurgical care at Banner University Medical Center in Tucson. Say that fast 3 times. He is an active teaching faculty member in the neurological surgery residency program with the Department of Neurosurgery at the University of Arizona. Bear with me here, because I love reading this stuff about my buddy. College of Medicine, Tucson campus. Dr. Avellino is the director of pediatric neurosurgery and is responsible for the overall operations, evaluation, and strategic development of the pediatric neurosurgery service. Can't say enough about these doctors who do so much for us. And, when you're in a jam, and I just can't even imagine how hard that job is. And so, God bless my brother from another mother, Dr. Avellino. Today, I'll let Tony set it up, because the notes, basically, we talk about brain mental health. There's so many aspects. I just let the neurosurgeon. Why don't I just let the neurosurgeon talk? But first, we got to do This Is Your Life. What's happening with the kids, the wife, the dog, everything, the cars, and the house. I want to welcome back my friend, Dr. Anthony, the star, Avellino. How you doing, bro?
Tom, great to be here. I must say that your Tom Matt show truly is a very insightful, it's a powerful show, because I often say sharing stories to allow people to learn, to pause, and to be their best self is actually really important. And as you and I have become great friends for a while now, and our interests are really in how to have someone perform at their very best. And as you and I've said many times before, as I often say, is performance equals skill minus interference. And what I mean by that, if you're an elite scholar, an elite athlete, elite any type of work you
Anything.
you
Want to be elite in anything
you
better
do,
listen
right? Yeah.
Dr. Avellino,
No,
right, Tony?
but I think in order to perform your best, you really have to block out whatever your interference is. Meaning, you have to be mentally prepared, you have to be mentally well, you have to be doing purposeful work, you have to be happy and satisfied, you have to be in healthy relationships. Because if you're not showing compassion towards yourself, it's very difficult to perform at that high level, and it would be great today to really explore with you is how the brain helps one optimize their performance. Because I often say, without a healthy, you can have a healthy body, but if your brain is not healthy and if you're not connected, if you're not in healthy relationships, it's very difficult to perform at that high level. But
It, it's interesting, Tony. Tony Avellino's our guest today, everybody. Another performance living chapter. Tony, optimizing performance, and you said self-compassion. I never really heard anybody ever say self-compassion before. I really like that term, self-compassion. Are we going to coin that now and we're going to use that here as our show and just kind of go with that? Is that something you want to do?
yeah, I think it's often a lot easier said than done. But if you're not showing compassion towards yourself, because uh, as I age, my faith plays a very important role. And I think showing compassion and love towards yourself, because if you're not, I think your anxiety goes way up. And in this world, I mean, raising awareness of mental health, depression, anxiety, suicide, um, is actually really important. Yeah. No, but it'd be great to learn a little bit about your journey, because you actually mentioned that you've been off coffee now for a while.
Yes. Yes, that's true. That's true. Can
Yeah.
we talk about that in the second segment? You can
Yeah.
talk about the
Sure.
kids and Jen.
Sure.
You got a couple minutes yet. Do the quick recap on that. And then when
Oh,
we get back,
sure.
since Dr. Avellino, my brother from another mother, the doc, is asking me the question. When the doc asks you the question, you got the same question.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
before, let's talk about the family and we'll talk about that when we come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, no, the family's doing great. My daughter Ashley is graduating Arizona State in May.
Congratulations.
We are all thrilled, and she's going to be starting the Arizona State Law School. And my son is doing well. He's finishing his second year. Um, and it's very interesting to actually hear from him, because I attended Cornell University 39 years ago, and him being there and sending me photographs, uh, it really gives me a pause. But,
Oh, Pat.
yeah, 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 no, but Ashley and Michael are doing great. My actually wife, Jennifer, is doing great too. Her horse Levi, um, is actually doing really well. So,
So
you know,
Levi adapted
yeah,
well.
yeah.
It's nice.
Oh yeah.
You have an incredibly, let me tell you guys, talking to the audience here. Tony Avellino has one of the nicest families you ever want to meet. Michael's a brilliant kid. She's brilliant as well. Michael's off the charts brilliant. I mean, he's tech brilliant. They're both in their own ways brilliant. Jen is just, she keeps things together, kind of like Sandy, she's like the puppet master behind the scenes, pulling the strings, keeping things together, right? That's kind of the way I see things, and she's really good at it. And it's just like with Sandy, she's really good at it. And frankly, you guys, without our support behind us, we got nothing. I mean, seriously, so much of this stuff we get to Tony and I get to sit here and talk and have fun and go through the notes and try to help you guys. But if we don't have our support all the way around, and Tony would have his support within his department at the university as well. The support people need to be acknowledged. And so I want to give some kudos to that. And with that, I'm going to take this thing through to break. Performance Living with Dr. Avellino, Chapter 3. Going to talk about me being off caffeine here in a second, and brain health, mental health, all kinds of good things. Tony's got it set up to the max. Dr. Anthony Avellino is in the house. You're listening to Tom Matcher. Fucking cake. So easy. All right, I'm going right into it. Here we go. Rock and roll, baby. We don't play games here.
Tom Matt Show
Tom
coming back.
Tom Match. Oh man, we're gonna break stickers with this thing. It's just, and you know what, the whole thing is just, if we help one person, it's worth it. That's it. And I'm so convinced of that. It's like, fuck yeah, let's go. I mean, and it's so much fun. And having these other things, long as we can, I mean, of course, I would love to make this thing multi-gajillion dollars. And I think someday with, stuff like this, Tony, we will be there. But it's just, it's the journey that's the fun part, and figuring it all out and getting better at it. And then, a couple of years from now, because I look back on when I started, I was terrible. And now this is your 10th visit,
Oh,
10th,
wow. Wow.
third performance living, 7 other visits on the,
Wow.
so
10 times.
no shit, bro. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's good stuff. It's fun. Okay, here we go. Great. I gotta make it out here. Okay. Rock and roll, baby. Second segment of the Tom Matt Show is sponsored by Craig Styles. Just had lunch with him. Went to the Rotary Club with him. Thinking about joining Rotary with Craig Styles from Ameriprise. Nice people, really cool over there. Craig Styles is our Ameriprise financial advisor because I trust him. I told him today, and I think he almost got a tear in his eye. I told him today that he's touched so many people. He's like an angel that touches people on the shoulder and he helps them get better. That's what it's like. Tony Avellino does this with me. I mean, so many people, you can find these people in your life. If you put good people around you, your life will be better. We talk about this a lot. You get rid of all the dead wood and all the takers. I mean, it's so simple. It's just, but when you're caught up in it, it's hard to do. With the right financial advisor, like Craig Styles from Ameriprise Financial Advisor, you don't have to worry about your money because he has Desideri Analytics, his proprietary algorithm that it's amazing. It's an amazing product. Just had a friend at Michigan State University, Anya Gerstenberg, who wrote a paper, her senior cognate, her paper for graduation, she's a math major, on Desideri Analytics, 4 point, nailed it. I mean, just crushed it with the preset. It's like I told Craig today, it's like, man, she's like, could sell this thing. And he's like, yeah, I think she might. So that's the thing with that. Desideri puts him over the top. Call Craig, 1-800-528-1355. You can reach him locally, 517-483-4893. Easy to get a hold of. Craig.styles@ampf.com. Offices are located at 2400 Lake Lansing Road. Suite B is in B is in more brilliant, Lansing, Michigan. Remember, with the right financial advisor, like a Craig Styles, life will be brilliant. Absolutely will be. Stations that have carried us in the past carry us now. Michigan Talk Network being the top of the list. WGIM 1240 AM Lansing carrying us statewide, all over the place on the Michigan Talk Network. Thanks to Stephen Ivy Gruber. WGHN 92.1 FM Grand Haven, first station ever carry us on broadcast radio. WJRW 1340 in Grand Rapids carried us for a long time. WKLQ 1490 Muskegon Whitehall. Why do I say stations that don't possibly carry us anymore? Because I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to anyone to put us on their air one time. You got to acknowledge these people. And who knows? Who knows? Be grateful. Don't burn bridges. WYPV FM 94.5 in Mackinac City. And of course, our very, very good friends at Michigan State University, WKAR. What's going on, Brad? How you doing, brother? AM 870 in East Lansing, Michigan. 102.3 is a simulcast Sundays at 5 o'clock. Going great. Again, thank you, Craig Styles, for creating Desideri Analytics. Be looking for that paper from that student I was talking about there. We're making lighter weighted decisions, and it's all because of Craig Styles and his brain. So get with him. All right. Back to my friend, Dr. Avellino, another performance live, my new favorite, one of my favorites. I love all of the categories and topics on the radio program, everybody. But performance living is so important because at this point for me, as I continue to grow older, always saying I'm not getting old, I'm growing older. That's the whole bottom line of life. Performance living with Dr. Avellino. We're very blessed to have a Dr. Avellino, and he and I clicking on this whole thing about this. He asked me a question. I'm going to set it up again, so just let the doctor talk to me. So Tony's going to interview me. He's my doctor. Go ahead, Tony. What were you going to ask me?
Yeah. So as you and I spoke about many, many times before, is how to be elite. You have to train your body, you have to train your craft, you have to train your actually mind. But if we really start with training your body, because the one thing that you mentioned to me though is you've been off caffeine now for about 5 or 6 months,
Yep.
and you told me that you feel a lot better. So it'd be great to get your insight about what your life before caffeine and after caffeine and being off caffeine.
Okay. So
So
the doctor asked the
it's
question. You got
spinning.
it straight. I was a 2 pot a day guy for about 35 years. And that's
Two
the truth.
pots.
I would drink
Wow.
cold coffee. I would save coffee. I would keep coffee in my vehicle. I would drink it. I mean, it might have stuff floating on it. I would still drink it. And Sandy was always like that. It's just so bad. And so I never thought it was a problem. And she always could say, I said I could sleep on it. I know, I've said I have sleep apnea. So I always figured it's fine. Let me tell you, the difference I'm feeling is just like I do not feel edginess. And it took a while now for my addiction with caffeine. It was probably a month before I just felt
Hmm.
completely free of the demon. But Tony, Dr. Avellino, to answer your question, I just feel my mind feels softer. It feels like I'm not as edgy. It's like it's just calmer. Some things come up, little tiny things that we used to kind of tick me off a little bit. It's just like, okay, just roll with it. And I am sleeping better. I mean, I thought was sleeping
Hmm.
well, and my blood pressure's lower. So it's like win all across the board. So I give credit to Dr. Tom Jameson, my personal physician, for leaning on me hard enough and putting the performance thing in my mind. So it's just, I don't feel edgy. And
Oh,
I never noticed that I was edgy until I got off of it and got clean. And now I think about it, it's like when tech stuff breaks or something stupid happens with it, because stuff breaks all the time with us. I used to I might throw a pen or something. And now I don't, no, it's totally fine. And it's like, it's good. It's like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, Tony? It's just like
Well,
that even keel.
yeah. Well, Tom. So since you've been off caffeine, what have you been drinking? Is it more tea, water?
What I have here with us for when I
Yeah.
do the
Yeah.
show, just to have something warm, is I drink an herbal tea with
Huh.
um,
Okay.
no caffeine at all, and I drink just a lot of water. I still drink some milk, and I picked up non-fat milk again because I wanted to up my protein. As I'm growing older, I know I need to up my protein a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and so I've kind of reverted back from being almost 80% vegetarian to more maybe like 65%. But I drink a
Hmm.
lot of water, and my diet is just become better. So the water has been and I drink the 0 calorie sparkling water. And
Right.
so that's about it, man. I
Yeah.
do my apple cider vinegar every day, and that's
Wow.
it. Pretty simple.
Yeah. You know, I often say that sleep and drinking water are two of the things that a lot of people don't do very well. And I oftentimes say to people, and I'll argue that sleep is one of the most important things that one can do. And I know that for me is just drinking more water, less sugary drinks, enables me, like you said, it sort of calms the nervous system down.
Does that happen? Do you think that's common across the board in the neurological aspect, Tony, that just taking that caffeine away? Because I'm not exactly sure the chemical, how it works,
Yeah.
but people, you think it elevates things, but from what I've read, it's not really that it elevates things. It just blocks things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I look at it that in the morning when someone wakes up, they either drink coffee or they drink a diet soda, a diet Coke, diet Pepsi. It's uh, no, no, that really gets us thinking about is the mental aspect and and how to train your mind is actually really important.
Hold that thought, because that's where we're going to come back, everybody. We're going to go to
Perfect. Yeah.
break here. Dr. Avellino's here. Let me reset real quick. Performance Living with Dr. Avellino, Chapter 3. It's always about neurological, brain health, mental health. When we come back, we're going to talk about mental aspects, how tips from the doc, anxiety, anger, finding happiness, all of it. We got all kinds of great notes here, and we're going to get it to you here just a second. Please stick around. You're listening to the Tom Matt Show. Boom, baby. See, I like producing this stuff now. CC didn't seem too hip on the, how we do it. And it is a little complicated, but it's better. It's just, I mean, you've heard it. You know what we do. It's just, but that's also, 13 years. So let's rock on, brother. Here we go. You there? Yep. Welcome back, everybody. Third segment of the Tom Matt Show, sponsored by Jamie Whitelaw, Christine White, the team over there. They're awesome. They're good friends. They are the place where justice meets compassion. Whitelaw PLLC. Whitelaw is our advocate and your advocate in times of need. They are here to listen, support, and fight for what you deserve. Listen to some of the episodes with Jamie White. Go to Spartan Sagas till I figure out the category that I want to put them in yet and create a new one. They're going in Spartan Sagas. They'll always be in Spartan Sagas because Jamie White is a massive Spartan. And that's another reason I love the guy. Contact Whitelaw today for your free consultation. If you got a problem, you got a jam, you got a situation, call Whitelaw. Visit Whitelaw, whitelawpllc.com. Call 517-777-9785. Again, whitelawpllc.com. Call 517-777-9785. Check out some of the Mad Dog Minutes that we put up on YouTube 3 times a week because Jamie sponsors those as well, and they're very well received. And David DeMarco is a rock star and a Hall of Famer. So you want to check all that out because that's what's making us click here so we can do episodes like today, Performance Living. We're all here to help you get better because by helping you get better, we get better. When Dr. Avellino and I, Tony, my friend, and I, we talk about these things, we're both feeding off of each other, trying to make each other better. We talk about this kind of stuff all the time. And so, Tony, going back into, our Performance Living Chapter 3, the mental aspect, you have some just fantastic notes on all of this stuff. You're so prepared as a physician. Please, I want you to have plenty of time to talk about where we're going today, how much more we got. Go right ahead. Talk about the beginning, how to modify pain, change body chemistry, wherever you want to go, mental aspect.
Sure. Yeah. I often say that having a healthy mind is as important as having a healthy physical body. And I know for me is having the ability to modify pain is actually really important, and I think from a mental health, I think the 4 areas, Tom, that we should explore is one is in your mental health state is how one finds happiness, how one finds a sense of meaning, how someone finds peace is actually really important because in this life, the people have such rapid access to information, the internet, social media, and this whole social media sort of affects one's ability about anxiety, about anger. And I think just exploring a little bit more about the positives and negative effects of having a little bit of anxiety, the positive and negative effects of having a little bit of anger. But really ultimately focusing on, because it took me 50 years to really find out is, how one finds happiness, how one finds a sense of meaning. Because I often say is as you go through the journey of life, you actually have these ups and downs. And I often say, I wish I knew 30 years ago today because I would be a lot more at peace. But with that said, is if I didn't have the 30 years of experience, the highs and lows and highs and lows, I'm not sure if I would have had the perspective I have now. But yeah, no, but It'd be nice though, Tom, is if you can tell the audience about how you find happiness, how you find peace. Um,
I just, Tony, that's such a great question. And I have my little slide that I did for a presentation. I think maybe we did it together, but
uh-huh.
I have my four pillars: purpose,
Yep.
passion, enthusiasm, and practice. And so it's like with those four pillars, you do just what you just said. When you find meaning in your life, you will find happiness. If you try to chase after happiness, like I did for so long with my drinking and my drugging days, and just not doing all the, doing it that when you try to do it the easy way, and I
Mhm.
finally figured out I didn't need to do the tobacco anymore. I don't need to do the caffeine anymore. I don't need to mask it. I can just live life pure. And when you live life pure, you can find meaning, and happiness found me. And so I just know if I stay on my same pattern that we're doing now, Tony, that we have established. Again, you said 50 years. I'm at almost 65 years now. It took me about 30 years, 35 years, because I've been alcohol free now 25 plus years. So
Amen.
the first part of my life, I was not a happy person. And getting clean, getting rid of a lot of toxic things in my life, and it could be behaviors, it could be anxiety, it could be having terrible sleep because I had undiagnosed sleep apnea for a long time. There were all these little pieces, Tony. It wasn't just one thing. But when you start to put the puzzle together and the puzzle starts to see a picture,
Hmm.
there you go. It's the all of a sudden
Yeah.
it was like, oh my God, there it is. I can see it now. I can feel it. And so it's just taking all these little pieces. And that's why we're doing these episodes, and why I'm going to do the marketing campaign coming up, because it's like everything is about your head. And finding happiness is nothing you want to chase after. You don't want to chase it with drugs. You want to chase it with drinking. You don't want to chase it with, sex, whatever you're doing out there. You don't even want to chase it with exercise, because you can get caught up too much out of balance, and you're gonna tip over. So that's how I found
Yeah.
it. Thank you for
Yeah.
the
Yeah. 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 Because I think the word you just said is really important, how to find balance.
yes.
It is because I often say is that you are the only person responsible to make you happy. And now with the social media, all the political unrest, everyone being divisiveness, the extremes, we because I think we have to think about how we calm down our nervous system. And a lot of things that you mentioned, is it sleep? Is it eating better? Is it drinking more water? But really it gets back to that formula: performance equals skill minus interference, because you can have all the skill in the world, whatever you do in life, but if you can't block out those interferences, whatever is interfering you, it could be like you: drugs, alcohol, tobacco, caffeine. You're right. And so
Amen.
you really have to sort of block that out, and yeah, but I must say that the social media is something that exploring more is really important, because everyone has this perfect life. Everyone's posting stuff. Oh, picture this, picture that. Look at the great. I'm in this exotic place eating this exotic meal, right? It's no, but I must say that having my mother recently pass away, and having Jen's mom um, uh, recently pass away really gave us the opportunity to pause. It is because the thing that I regret is not spending the time, or or saying, "Oh, I'm way too busy," because I think as you're going through that journey of life, you're climbing, 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 right? But I think, that pause, like you and I've discussed many times, is having that pause, having the ability to step back, pause, reevaluate where you are is key.
Let me take it from there, Tony, because you said pause twice, and we're going to regroup on our topic here, because we're always talking about brain and mental health when we do performance living. Because Dr. Avellino and myself, we both 100% agree. and we're in lockstep with having your head in the game is the right way to do it. And it's what all these little factors that throw, and it might be just one thing that throws you out of balance. I mean, is your performance and your skill minus interference, as Tony's always said and coined, is that compromising what your life is capable of doing? Because I'm going to tell you right now, it is. If you let the interference interfere, you are compromising your performance in life. And that's that. We'll be right back. Dr. Avellino is here, Performance Living. You're listening to the Tom Matt Show.
Tom, that was a great segment.
Thanks, brother. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, you know, and
you're better at asking me the questions. It's like, okay, let's go. That's cool. You talked about that last time. It's like,
yeah,
I'm totally fucking game. Now on this one, do you want to move past? Do you want to go to your story about finding happiness and then talking about your suicide attempt, that paragraph you have here, or do you want to move farther into the notes?
No, but the you know, I think exploring the because I think the anxiety and anger because I think exploring the anxiety angle because I personally feel that you need a little bit of anxiety, you need a little bit of stress to get better and to actually grow. And so
I'm gonna throw it to you and then just take it from there with That's a big thing. Anxiety and anger are huge.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Let me get my read ready.
This is the fourth segment?
Fourth segment. Yep.
Well,
is this the fourth segment? Have you been on this show 10 times, man? Look at you sound like a fucking producer. Yeah.
So the thing is, you know, the relationship health and, you know, the faith help, we may have to leave for the next time.
Yeah, right. And it's fine.
Yeah, we can just talk forever.
I put notes exactly. And that's the charm of the whole freaking thing, man. That's the badassness of what we do. It's so fun. Here we go.
What you should do is call it the TT show.
Well, we already
Tom and Tony show.
I'd give you first billing because you're
no bullshit.
You're the doc.
No, you are the master.
You give me the name the mayor, and it's like, and then I run into Vinnie Gorman about Malcolm Gladwell and the books that he's giving me tips on. He gave me a tip on a book too. I'll share it with you.
Go for it.
Got it written down on my phone. Here we go. Fourth segment of the Tom Matt Show is sponsored by Selling Team Keller Williams, Brock Fletcher, my other kingpin, the three kingpins, the three horsemen of the Tom Matt Show. We got Craig, Jamie, and then there's Brock, doing it. Used his services, full disclosure. You guys have heard me say this. I say it every show. Sold Big House Holt. Bought Little House Lansing, thanks to Mike Dedman. How you doing, Mikey? Out there taking care of business. And I hear from people all the time. We just ran into an old friend at the grocery store. Their kids finished with school, college, trying to buy a home. Can't find a home because it's like they're getting scooped every time. That's because they don't have the right realtor. They need to get Brock Fletcher, the selling team. Because let me tell you, when we wanted Little House Lansing, we got it. We made an offer. We had an escalation clause. All of that's on Reality Real Estate, just like all the other topics we have on the show. Go to the website, tommattshow.com, and find it. To get a hold of Brock, please call 517-853-6408, or his cell phone number is 517-303-3262. Simple, 303-3262, area code 517. You can go online at kwsellingteam.com, kwsellingteam.com. You don't even have to hire Brock. You can just call him and say, or text him and say, you heard it on the Tom Matt Show, heard Tommy talking about you, and you just want to get some information. That's what he did for my former neighbor next door. I just said, call Brock, get some help on this, because I think you're selling your house for too less of money, and somebody's going to come in and be happy as heck that you. And he got Brock, and guess what? He got an extra 20 grand in his pocket. And that is a true story. We don't play here. You know, our integrity means everything. If you're a potential seller, potential buyer, if you're just an investor, or you just want to get some info, or you have someone that's looking for a career change, young person looking for a job that maybe not going to go to college, Brock is training up the young army. He's got them going on. He's got interns all over the place. And these people, I send students from Michigan State over to see him, and they love him. And because they establish a relationship. And that's how it works. Okay, back to performance living with my brother from another mother, Dr. Anthony Avellino, chapter 3. All right, we got some big topics when it comes to this brain mental health. I mean, we could talk for hours and hours and hours, and we usually do, about all of the things, because everything that affects your life is starting in your head. And you might have your gut science and your microbiome that's sending neurotransmitters up to your brain via the vagus nerve. But the bottom line is, if the brain is out, you're done. I mean, it's so we got to keep this straight. So there's many different aspects that we need to deal with. Tony, you got a couple here that you wanted to talk about, you think are very important to discuss, and I agree with you. You wanted to talk about anxiety first. Can you take that, please?
Sure. Yeah. Because I think a significant part of our human existence revolves around avoiding or reducing the amount of anxiety we have. And what I mean by that, the ability to deal with anxiety in a healthy way is critical to have the best quality of life, because I think it's normal and necessary to have a little bit of of anxiety, because it identifies those situations that you need to avoid. And I often say you need to get a little comfortable with anxiety, and you have to get comfortable to develop mechanisms or tools to alleviate those. Because I think as you go through the journey of life, people say you learn most from your mistakes, but you have to have a little anxiety to grow. Because I know for me as a pediatric neurosurgeon, even though I've been doing this for 25 plus years, before every case, I do have a little bit of anxiety because I want to be absolutely in the moment. I want to I want to be focused. And so I think in this day and age, anxiety, depression, are big things. But I think it's also to understand that you need a little bit of anxiety to get better. And I think every person is different. Some people need a little more anxiety, some people need less. But I think having that feeling of uncomfortableness is important, because you have to feel a little uncomfortable to grow. Because if you don't stretch yourself, you're not growing. And
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like it's no different than the gym. Anxiety, stress, anxiety. You have good stress, you have eustress, which is good stress. Tony's right. I mean, if you don't push yourself, Tony, I think part of the problem with the anxiety is perhaps that we have softened things up so much where you don't want people to become upset. You want to be soft. You want to be, I don't want to upset you. And then when you get, blasted with life, because life is a BIT, you know
life
what
is
I'm saying?
hard.
It's hard. And so, what
Hard.
do you think, Tony? Are we conditioning? Are we entitling too many people? Are we deflecting too much so that people become they're so desensitized to any amount of stress that when they have a tiny bit, they completely go off the rails. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the social media and the extremism that we're dealing with is something that I hope for my kids, it's not a healthy way to live, and it's going to be interesting to see what transpires,
Yeah, that's for sure.
because I think we have to get back to more of the center. We have to get back to more um, the ability to have disciplined disagreement. And what I mean by that is really taking all voices into consideration, putting yourself in someone's other shoes, appreciating. But yeah, no, but but having a little bit of anxiety, I think, is important. But also having when you have that anxiety is how you develop the tools and the mechanisms to alleviate that. And it really gets back to the emotions of anger, because I think as human beings, we're social beings. We touch, we feel, we listen, we smell, and everyone has anger. And I often say in my talks that promise me tomorrow morning when you wake up, you're going to say, "I'm going to have a great day." Because if you wake up and you're angry with your spouse, your dog, your kids, your whole day's shot.
I agree. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's all about balance. Again, we go back to balance.
That balance, the
When you
balance.
when you said disciplined disagreement, man, I marked that down in big letters here. Right under it, I put empathy, Tony. I mean, if you can't have empathy, all we're going to have are these silos, and you're either on my side or the other side, and then that just stokes what you're talking about with the anger, which then leads to the anxiety and the stress. I mean, they're all linked. Everything is linked together. So going back to your, on the next note and finding happiness, I think that forgiveness and the sense of meaning that you have, if you can deal with your anger and your anxiety, or you have the tools, give us a couple of tools. We got a minute to go before we go to break here, Tony, but tell us a couple of tools you think that can help people easily, perhaps, deal with anxiety, which then can help them ratchet down the anger.
Yeah. So I think it's really about three things. One is you have to acknowledge it. You have to deal with it, and you have to let it go. Because one of my mentors used to tell me you have to have the 24-hour rule. So if you get upset or you're angry with someone, you can't just you can't fester for days and days and days. After 24 hours, you just got to let it go.
They say that with pro athletes too, after a big
Mhm.
loss or a big win.
Mhm.
Either way, it's
Yeah.
like we're going to celebrate or we're going to have sorrow for 24 hours, and then we're going to let this whole thing go. And anger can lead to my point, I think, Tony, is you've said this several times today, is the social media. It's the instant gratification. We can't we are becoming unable to step back and
Mhm.
take a pause, as you say all the time. Take a pause. It's like, because social media, it's like instantaneous gratification, and it's like it's conditioning our minds so that we can't even think, to take and step back. I heard something. I'm going to carry this through, Tony, because we're going to go to break. But I heard something on radio today about how a group with the COVID kids, they will sit in a group session in one room together, and they will be texting each other instead of talking to each other. And it's like, what are we doing here? We're
Well,
we're conditioned.
Tom,
I got to carry this through, Tony, because I'm going to
yeah,
go to.
yeah.
I'm going to come
Okay.
back and ask. I
Okay.
want you to answer that question though, because what are we going to
Sure.
do with this social media? And we have this inability to communicate, the communication skills. What do we do as older adults? We got to coach people up. You're listening to the Tom Matt Show. Oh yeah, we're going there. We're going right there right
This
after
is the
this one
last
right here.
segment. Wow. Good. Goes
Rolling.
quick.
Fuck yeah,
You
it's
know,
quick because we fucking kill it. Here we go. You need your email, phone numbers, contact info, speaking engagements, sell it, sell your book, all of it, website. Got all that handy?
no, but I'll
Okay.
get it handy now.
You got it right there somewhere?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Tell me when you're ready. This is the cool thing. I'm talking to the camera now. This is the cool thing about
Yeah.
doing radio
Yeah.
like this, you guys,
Go.
because
Yeah.
the guest and I, we want to
Yeah.
bring you the best
Go for
content
it.
that we can. I want my guest, Dr. Avellino. I don't even want to guess what he gets, what his rate is per hour. I mean, you could charge it per second, and it's probably a lot more than we make in anything. It's not about the money. It's about being a good steward of our time and your time and his time and my time. So, you ready to go, man?
All set.
Here we go. All right. Beautiful. You miss any portion of our radio program, you can always go to the podcast, pick that bad boy up. Fifth segment, we always share our contact info. Ours is so dang simple. just go to tommattshow.com, 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 bottom of the homepage. All our sponsors are there. Craig's there, Jamie's there, Brock's there, and other people are there as well. The three horsemen are there, the big dogs, they're all there. Check those people out. All the podcasts are there. All our social media is there. All of the different aggregators for the podcast itself between Spotify and Google Play and all those good things. They're all there. All of them. Big blue buttons. Can't miss them. Easy. All right. I'll throw this to Dr. Avellino before we get back into the question that I was posing to him. Tony, how do you want people to get a hold of you? How do you want people to get a hold of you? How would you like people to get a hold of you?
So the best way to get a hold of me is my book is called Finding Purpose: A Neurosurgeon's Journey of Hope and Healing. It really goes through my journey, my story, and it really gives you some tools of how one could be their very best. But secondly, my email is findingpurpose37@gmail.com, and my website is uh, findingpurposeavellino.com.
And we'll have all of that in the show notes to recap, as we always do. Very easy to find. If you're just listening or saying, hey, I went too fast, don't worry. We always put it on the website. I just mentioned it, tommattshow.com. Tony, I was posing a question to you in the other segment, the previous thread, about a group of was researchers, and actually it was Vinnie Gore who was talking about this at a lunch that we went to today. I forgot, I wasn't sure where the hell I heard it, but I remember now that he was mentioning that you would set in these. They had this group session, and these were COVID kids. These are like college students. They were in high school during COVID. Okay, so now they're coming in and they're doing these tests on these kids, and they have them in a group setting, Tony, kind of like a group session, group therapy kind of thing. And they're asking questions, and instead of talking to each other, they're texting each other, and they're sitting in the same room right in front of each other. And I have seen this on some of the dating stuff that comes through my YouTube feeds and all this stuff that, I'm following all these popular people where younger people will come up to the door and they will text the person that they're at their door instead of knocking on the door. It is the most bizarre thing. Do you think that that's adding to our anger, anxiety issues that we're talking about? And again, it leads into where you're searching for happiness you can't find. What do you think about that, Tony? What is your take on that?
So I'll give you another few examples. One, a family sitting at dinner at an outside restaurant. They're not talking. Everyone's on their phone. They're sending texts with each other, uh, or 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 a family in their own home. Their kids are upstairs, their parents are downstairs. Instead of coming downstairs and talking to them, they are sending a text. It's no, but I think the importance, though, Tom, like you said, is human beings are social beings, and um, I think the younger generation, we need to allow them to develop those soft skills, because I think what the social media does, it makes people hide. Because they'll say things in a text or on social media that they wouldn't say if the person was right there. And I think that's one. Two, though, is I think human beings are social beings, and so in order to develop those soft skills, how to read a room, how to read people, I think it's important that you talk. It's and having the ability to talk, because I think the isolation increases one's anxiety too.
Well, how does the brain process auditory and then the textual? I mean, it's got to be a brain processing thing. You have that tactile thing with the hands, and it's like, well, there's got to be a different, because
Yeah.
I know when I hear like my audiobooks and I'm reading the Whisper Sync, I get so much out of that listening and then reading at the same time. It's just like I love to listen. It's like doing this talk radio show when I'm not talking, which is probably most of the time, probably too much sometimes. But it's like we need to do that. We need to condition and help our young people with those soft skills, as you were saying, Tony. We need to find some skills with this and not be afraid to talk to young people. I think the older generations, I think they're a little intimidated by the young people, and the young people are intimidated by the older people. And so there's this growing canyon of, I don't know, it's not trust, it's just like they just don't know each other. And I mean, I love being around the young people all the time. I love it. So it's so much fun. They want to be around us, don't they, Tony? I mean, look at your kids and look at the young people that you deal with. You're in a university life. You've been in a university for a long time. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it gets back to my disciplined, have a disciplined disagreement. And it gets back to the word that you used is balance. Because because if you look at the pluses and minuses, I think the one thing about the internet's good is gives people rapid access, and so if there's a crisis or a public health concern or a natural disaster, I mean, it gives the ability to communicate quickly and get the information out there. But one of the other topics that I think we should talk about on a later show is the whole thing about AI.
Oh,
Because I think artificial intelligence and robotics and augmented virtual reality are three things that are really going to change the world.
well, let's touch on that subject right now. I mean, unless you want to go hold it. Well, you know what? I'm going to hold that, Tony, because we will do a whole show on that because that's a whole show and let you get your notes together. I really wanted to finish the show with that powerful story that you have. It's in the happiness part of our notes, but it was since your suicide attempt, you have done some amazing things. And so we have a lot of new listeners. Can you please share that story and how you are dealing with your own personal demons, and a little bit of that story? You got a several minutes to share that story.
Yeah,
And it's just such a powerful story of you overcoming. Would you mind talking about that, please?
sure. Because I often say, as coming forward with my story in 2016, I can affect more lives doing that. Because I think showing some vulnerability, showing signs of how someone connects with each other at the heart, and I think personal stories resonate. And for me is since my suicide attempt, I found inner peace through endurance ultra running, and it really gets back to healthy body, healthy mind. But I must say that for me, preparing for an ultra race, which are anything greater than 26.2 miles, 50-kilometer races, 50-mile race, 100-mile races. But to these races are sort of like the hills of life. They require you to prepare, you have to start, you have to work as a team, you have to stay focused, and you have to finish. Because training and competing in ultra races really continues to help me learn self-coping skills to overcome the physical and mental challenges of life. Because when I'm running through the mountains on rugged terrain, I find that mental toughness is more important than the physical endurance. You having the ability to navigate the unexpected, not lose control physically is key. You need to keep your emotions in check so you can develop solutions to overcome the unexpected, such as missing a turn on a trail and needing to run the extra distance to get back on the trail, just as you would need to navigate a communications problem with a coworker by using your teamwork skills.
Have you ever in an ultra race, which I still find amazing that you do these things, and this is how Dr. Avellino was sharing with us, Dr. Tony Avellino is with us, talking about since his suicide attempt in 20, and came out in 2016 to talk about this. Have you ever missed a turn in one of your ultra races?
Oh
And
yeah,
and how did you
awful.
how did you deal with that stress and
You
that?
know, Tom, you should bring my wife on the show because there was one race in Arizona that I missed a turn, and I was so crazy. I was so upset. But it really gets back to that how one deals with anxiety and anger. I mean, you have to acknowledge it, uh, and you have to develop a solution for it, and you have to let it go.
Do you think people did you beat yourself up? Because I think people beat themselves up for making a bad decision. The decision is already done. So if you continue to beat yourself up over this decision that you just made, what's the point? I mean, it's like, okay, just get over it. That's where you go back to your rule of just deal with it, acknowledge, deal, let it go.
Right.
Don't we beat ourselves up, Tony?
Yeah, and that really gets back to the in the beginning of the show, we were talking about showing compassion towards yourself, because I often say, how many of you, if you make a mistake, or if you get anger, uh, do you beat yourself up, or do you just laugh it off and just move on?
It's unbelievable how hard we can be on ourselves. Tony, I got to close this thing out because we're coming up on the end of the show. It's always a riot to have you on here. Dr. Avellino's Performance Living. He is my go-to guy when it comes to performance living. This is a huge topic for us to discuss. Chapter 3, always going to be about brain and behavior and how we can, because there's so many things that happen in our brains. If our show fits your business or group's mission, we want to be of service to you through our guests like a Dr. Avellino. If you've got a question, send us a note, tommattshow.com, in the contact box. I will make sure that it gets into Dr. Avellino's, email it to him. Maybe it'll become part of our show. Who knows? We do have sponsorships available. You have to drop us a note in the contact box. Always remember, before you can share love with others, you must love yourself first. Thanks again to Dr. Anthony Avellino. I call him Tony. Kids call him Dad. Jen calls him Rover. I don't know. Sandy Matt, Craig Stiles, Brock Fletcher, Jamie White. We'll talk to everybody next weekend. Have a great week, everybody. Go out and ignite your life. Good day. Now, remember, Tom Matt Show is a production of Boomers Rock Media, and it is done to you and brought to you by Mitch Anderson. We're out. Boom, baby.
Tom, great. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That.
So if you want to turn off the recording, or no,
Okay.
you can't. Oh yeah.
Well, I can always just chop it
Oh,
out.
okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 No, because I must say that I spoke to Norm, and to be honest with you, uh, I was surprised. I think it's a good move for him.
What did he do? I don't know what you're referring to.
Oh, he left
Oh, I
MSU.
didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No,
Oh, wow. You didn't know that at all.
no.
Oh, there's a
That
big
happened.
announcement came out this week. So he's going to be the EVP of Health Sciences at Georgetown.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so he's and it's funny because I truly think that his ego got in the way,
Yeah.
because to be honest, I mean the job at Georgetown is sort of the role that he has now.
He's just pissed off at the university because
Yeah,
he
yeah,
didn't.
yeah, yeah. And to be honest with you, but I had a long chat with him, and I can understand his reasoning because he's a very Catholic, faith-based person. Um, his older son had another premature infant child
Okay.
that, and so and his older son is going to be a radiology resident at Hopkins in the fall,
Oh, okay.
and so,
So he's both.
yeah, yeah. So really, I mean, his two grandkids that were born premature are going to be there. And so DC and Baltimore is very, very close. And so, but the thing is, is Norm's not an East Coast grind it type of your guy. I mean,
He's lived
I
here
mean,
his whole life.
yeah, I mean, Seattle and Lansing are a little different than Washington, D.C. I mean, Washington, D.C. is hard. I mean, the politicalness, the decisiveness. I mean, there's no bullshit.
I'm very surprised
Crazy.
I did
Yeah.
not see
Crazy,
that.
right? Crazy, Tom. I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, I wonder you should apply for that job.
No, no, I'm done. Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're good now.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied with where you're at now?
Well, um, so so as of January, I'm the interim chief physician executive. Yeah. So, but there may, but there's another role in Phoenix with Arizona State U, that may be a potential role. So
Culture
we'll
for
see.
you.
Yeah. So we'll see. But you know, for me, hopefully by June 1st, I have some resolution
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit. But yeah. But good, yeah. And I assume that you and Sandy are doing okay?
Yeah, we're doing fine. You know,
Good.
we've had a couple of little hiccups here and there, but nothing substantial. You know, life has always got a couple of little curveballs. That's the whole thing we're talking about. That's why we do these episodes, Tony, because it's like
Yeah.
this shit. And I tell people all the time, you got to be resilient enough for when the ball comes flying at your head and it hits you in the head. You got to be able to withstand the freaking shot because bad things are going to happen. You're going to have some illnesses. You're going to have some trials and tribulations. Things are going to have. If you think life is going to be perfect, you are in for a big surprise. So I have been through it. And so now I'm of the opinion now I need to be my highest performing self, my highest performing self. And whatever that is how I've figured it out with, my very boring life, with a very boring food, with a very boring, going to the gym, doing my thing. And it's just, having my fun, but just very, very methodical, very chunked out, very segmented. And I like it. It's like, cause Sandy asks me
Yeah.
all the time, don't you get tired of doing it? It's like wearing a black shirt when I record now on all the shows like Steve Jobs. I
Oh,
don't even think about it. I don't even think about
that's
it.
good.
It's just it's
Which
just
is great.
such a routine and a habit because why would I want to change? I know how I feel. And that's why when I do the 65, 35, 45, 55 campaign, it's like I have my stats. I have my blood work, I have my DEXA scan, and I'm going to share that with people and say, listen, this is how I feel at this point. This is what I've done. You want to follow, fine. If you don't want to follow it, fine. It's totally good. And you can poke me all you want, but I'm not going to go out there and show cleavage. I'm going to get some body shots done
Yeah.
and I'm going to make some videos that are going to
Well,
blow
your
people.
ass, you just want to show your tight ass.
I do, man. I'm going to show some tight fucking ass off. I'm going to fucking flex some, and it's going to be. You got to do it, man. You can't be afraid to put your fucking mug out there and just get real. So that's it. I mean,
Good. All right. Good. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
because when I relate this, when I do that
yeah.
5 campaign,
Uh-huh.
I am absolutely going to be talking about performance living up and down. It's going to be
Yeah.
like, listen to our performance living takes,
So
listen to that I got Ollie. Believe me, I've been thinking about this for a year. And it's like, you helped me figure this whole thing out. And it's all coming together, brother. This
yeah,
is
yeah.
keep
Yeah,
plugging.
yeah. No, because you know, is on the next few shows we can actually go through spiritual health, relationship
Sure.
health, and
But you
things
can do
like
that
that too. So
wherever you want to go,
we'll
Tony.
see.
If you want to put it
Yeah,
in your
which is good.
note,
Yeah, which
uh,
is good.
wherever
Yeah,
you want, because this is always great.
yeah,
And we've got a really
which is
nice.
great.
But you did talk about that all that tech stuff, and so you might want to make notes because you said the virtual reality, the
Yeah,
augmented
yeah,
virtual
yeah,
reality,
yeah,
AI. You've got
yeah,
all that. I mean, how does that affect
yeah.
performance living? Well, it's a huge effect, and if you're afraid, see the thing is, people get stressed out by this, and they think they're kind of freaked out. I think it's a good thing. I think that if these tools can help us do the diagnosis and they can get you the results you want back, hey,
Right.
more power to you.
No, no, I agree. All right. Well, Tom, that
Hey,
you
brother,
know,
you got to go.
I must say that that was probably one of the best shows we actually did.
No doubt.
You agree?
It
Yeah, yeah. You know,
gets better every time, Tony,
you
and
know,
I'm loving it.
yeah,
Glad you're happy with
it's
it.
great. Yeah, it's
I'm
good. Yeah,
happy with
yeah,
it. And
yeah.
Mitch is really happy. Mitch,
Good.
just
Yeah, good. Excellent.
but
Good.
nice that you did it. You recorded from your office.
Yeah, it's fine.
And
Yeah, it's nice. Good.
sounds
All right.
fantastic.
All right. Well, Mike, Tom, thanks for your friendship.
Okay.
Hugs and love to you
Tell
and
Delon,
Sandy and
okay,
family.
tell Delon I said I'm looking forward to talking to him
Sure.
very
Perfect.
much. I
Good.
need a recommendation. Sounds like a great guy, and I can't wait
Yeah.
to read it.
Perfect. Good. All right, Tom, you're the
All right, talk.
best. All right. See you. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Dr. Anthony Avellino, Performance Living. I love this topic so much. It's just like, it's crazy how we've evolved into this, but it's so important. And I'm telling you that 65, 35, 45, 55 campaign, when we come out with this thing, it's all about performance living. It's all about, how are you feeling? What are you? And for me, when I do the videos, you guys, you get ready, because it's like, it's not really what I do, it's what I don't do. I kind of came to the conclusion that it's a lot of the things that I don't do anymore that is encouraging my own personal performance living. And that's where Dr. Avellino and I go with all of these things and talking about this. So, another good episode. Appreciate all of you doing what you do. Please listen, subscribe, do all this, share with your friends, send us notes. We're down for any kind of topics. And we love that everybody is a fan of the show. So thank you so much. We'll talk to you next time, everybody. I'm Papa Tom. Peace out. We're out.